All right. Good evening, everybody. Detroit Sports Talk on the fifth chapter with Brian Jelinek. I'm Dennis Fithian, and we are ready to get things underway. Jelinek, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. It's just college football is really kicking off this week. I'm really excited. I can't wait to sit Labor Day weekend and just watch college football all weekend long. I'm really excited.
Yeah, to that end, we might be having an abbreviated show on Thursday because kickoff's at 7:30, like right around the show. We'll just have to jam it all in there.
Oh, yeah.
So we can get going and watch some college football. We have college football to talk about here, and we've got some pro football to talk about as well, plus a big fight that happened over the weekend as well, which we will get to in the fourth chapter as we present the book to you, as we throw it up there and show you what we're going to be talking about. There you go. Jelinek has put that together, and he's done a good job. Look at him. Fifth chapter, he's got all that going on. See him. We're going to get to. He's using some of the Chapman type lingo there, calling them the Deep South Buckeyes, and you see some Lions there in the third. Raaj, who's going to be ready to go in the fourth chapter, and then in the fifth chapter, wherever we're at, a lot of different things going on, moving and shaking in the NFL, like Cam Newton getting cut, and golf fans yelling Brooksy.
Oh. We got to talk about that in the fifth chapter. I love Patrick Cantley even more now because I can't stand DeChambeau. That was a great six-hole playoff format that there was at the BMW. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah, real quick note. I had a friend who didn't like being called Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his name was Jim Hunt. He hated being called. He'd get so ticked off. He'd swear at you every time. You know, he didn't like. But you know what? Guess what? Everybody then called him Jimmy because it riled him up.
Yeah.
Brooksy's going to get a lot more Brooksy coming at him. If he didn't like it, well, he's going to get a lot more of it by telling everybody that he didn't. So,
well, did you see what the PGA Tour said about they're going to try to it's going to be? I don't even know what the terminology.
I
know. Yeah. I know. I think that guy is so thin-skinned. I can't stand Bryson DeChambeau.
Brooksy. I mean, what are you going to do?
I know you can't.
How are you going to throw somebody out there?
Brooksy.
Yeah. That doesn't work. I mean, if there's one guy standing out there in the middle of nowhere and he's got a megaphone or something, and they're like, hey, there he is. But other than that, good luck with trying to find the perpetrators of the ones that are heckling DeChambeau. So
F that guy, man. F that guy. I can't stand them.
Good, man. Golf fans are golf in general, man. They like it. They need a villain, and they got one.
Always need a villain.
DeChambeau. All right, well, let's get to the first chapter. That takes us to Michigan, who will kick off on Saturday at 12 o'clock against Western Michigan State, which we'll get to in the second chapter. They'll be kicking it off on Friday, and we'll talk about them coming up. But Michigan, we knew that it was going to be Cade McNamara. It was going to be their starting quarterback. We know that they got a new defensive coordinator in Mike McDonald, and we're going to wait and see what the Wolverines look like on Saturday. But the Kirk Herbstreit making some waves over the last 24 hours as he produced a video where he started talking about the passion of college football sports fans, and he says that Michigan, they're not as passionate as some of their rivals like Penn State and Ohio State. Let's watch this video, and then we'll have our reaction about what Kirk Herbstreit had to say.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Not as passionate about sports. I don't know if they have other, how Michigan, they have great fans, but like compared to Madison or State College or Columbus or Iowa, it's almost like, we went to the game, but we're running companies and we're doing other things. We got other things going on besides football. Our lives, are bigger than if we went on a Saturday. Well, in Columbus and Madison and State College, their lives that next week are predicated upon what happened last Saturday. In Michigan, they got more things going on, it seems like.
It's a very weird video. I'll give you a first crack.
Yeah, first of all, are you a part of my take guy? Do you follow Barstool at all or not really?
I like some of the guys over there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think they do phenomenal interviews with some big-time athletes, analysts, and all that. I really like it. It's made me like guys like Herbstreit and Joe Buck more when they go on that platform and talk. But I think Herbstreit's right on, man. I mean, watching that video just now, looking at some of the comments on Twitter, texting a few friends who are Michigan graduates, Yeah, I think Michigan fans are. I don't think they're as passionate as you see it. Like, what's the jump around at Camp Randall? You got the Kinnick Wave, stuff like that. There's big passion at Ohio State, the whiteout at Penn State University, all that. It's awesome. You don't really see that at the Big House. I saw a lot of comments on Twitter saying a wine and cheese crowd, or just that it's all white collared stuff going on at the Big House. And after a decade of not playing very well and constantly being ranked in the top 10, top 15 at the start of the season and constantly underperforming, I think the Michigan fans have a right to not be super passionate.
Well, I think it's a very strange stance by Herbstreit, who had the whole white flag deal last year. So I think for the next year or two, most Michigan fans are like, Kirk Herbstreit can say whatever the hell he wants. Like, he's shown his true colors here. But, try to take what he's saying there. Like, so you want to be a really passionate fan, but to be able to show that you're a passionate fan, don't concentrate on work and just involve yourself in the game. And if things go left, completely have it ruin your life. I mean, that's what he's saying here. There's a lot more fans like that at Ohio State. There's a lot more fans like that in Iowa and that. So, most of that is BS. But mostly when you do hit something that hurts, and you see a lot of Michigan fans like, Kirk Herbstreit can jump in a lake or whatever else. When they sting, there usually is some element of truth to it. And we get to the element of truth when it comes to Michigan here is Michigan football fans. They are very passionate, but they really haven't had much to celebrate in terms of winning. So you can't really point to something like, well, yeah, we can't hear you because our Big Ten championship rings are in our ears here. Michigan's been since 2004 since they've won the Big Ten. So there's that gap there.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously they've fallen behind, of course, Ohio State, but out of the national picture. Now they could get right back in there, but that's not even the argument. So how passionate can you be if your team isn't winning anything? They haven't been to Indianapolis. I mean, you can be as passionate as you want, but I mean, how much? It's like a Lions fan. It's like if the Lions right now, you could have the most passionate fan of the world. Would they ever win? Would they ever win any kind of most passionate fan? You could call them loyal, but they're not going to be the most passionate fans because they're going to look to the bigger brands there. And I think the thing that rings true to me, though, is that Michigan Stadium over the years, it has been, dissected like, they've got the biggest crowd in the country, 110,000. But does it sound like 110,000? Even when Michigan was good, and you could consider them, if you wanted to say edge of elite or an elite program, however you wanted to look at that, they were always like, well, the fans are used to winning. The other one was, the bowl, the crowd, the noise just escapes out of the top. There's nothing to hold it in. And then there's like, well, you called it the wine and cheese crowd. There's a lot of old blues. That's what they call them. They're like, there's a lot of people, alums that love going to the games. And it doesn't matter if they're 95 years old. They're going to still go to the game. They're going to still sit down there. There's a 95-year-old old blue Michigan fan jumping up and down, going crazy, yelling, come on, no, they're not doing that. So I think what it comes down, this is, I don't know, it's not a cheap shot by Kirk Herbstreit.
No, not at all.
But it is it is a shot, though. It's a shot at Michigan. But what it is right now, I'm a Michigan fan. And one thing that you don't like doing if you're a sports fan, doesn't matter what team that you're a fan of, I'm a Michigan fan. I'm taking the medicine right now. Like, I would like to, say Mel Tucker's a clown at Michigan State. Michigan's put him in their rear view mirror. Michigan State won last year's game. I thought that Michigan was blow past Michigan State and put them in the rear view mirror, they haven't. So there's not a lot of trash talk for me when Michigan State has done what they've done. And the same thing with Ohio State, same thing where Michigan's at right now. When Michigan goes to Indianapolis or they make the college football playoff and then they can sustain some things, well, then you can tell, Herbstreit to go stick it and all of that. I mean, I know a lot of Michigan fans saying, yeah, you know what, we're going to have a life outside of Saturdays. We're also going to,
that is what you say when your team constantly sucks at this point. Oh yeah, we have a life outside of football. Like, we're just turning our attention to basketball. Like, blah blah blah. That's exactly what losers say, though.
Yeah, but Michigan's not a loser, and Michigan doesn't suck. I mean, that's where that's where you end up sounding lame there. Michigan doesn't suck. Michigan hasn't beaten. Michigan hasn't beaten Ohio State. If it comes down to you want to say, where they're at about winning the Big Ten or beating Ohio State or how they do in their bowl record, I mean, that's fair, but they don't suck.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, you technically don't suck going 8-5, 9-4, or 10-3 and stuff like that. But Michigan is expected to be on a tier, or at least Michigan fans think they should be on a tier with Alabama, with Clemson, with USC when they're good, or Oregon or something like that. They think they deserve to be up top like that, and Michigan is not like that right now. And that's why the fans are not passionate. Michigan is not a good football program right now in terms of winning. Like, they're average, they're solid. They're basically feel like a Northwestern right now. They're a solid team. That's the best they can do right now. They don't have a higher ceiling right this second.
Yeah, well, they're better than that, but again,
that's how they feel. That's how I feel though, looking in on the Michigan football program. They feel average.
You and a lot of other people. And you know what? If you're a Michigan fan, instead of shouting and saying that you're garbage and go back to your corner or whatever else, it's like, to me, I'm just taking the medicine right now. They've got 12 games here to prove everybody wrong, and it's game week. Let's see. Usually, not this year. Usually there's a lot of off-season talk about last season hype, off-season hype about they're going to show this and they're going to. And I haven't heard that from many Michigan fans. Now they only won 2 games last year, so it's been an odd off-season for a lot of reasons. But they've got 12 games starting Saturday to turn some things around.
Really quickly, how do you feel about Joe Milton starting for the Volunteers down in the SEC?
Yeah, well, Joe Milton is not a surprise. I mean, you go to a practice. A situation, Joe Milton can, he may have beat out Cam Newton himself if he was with New England. Joe Milton can throw the ball 100 miles an hour. He can throw it the length of the football field, but it's kind of like going out to the driving range. Joe Milton can hit him 330, 340. He's blasting them out there. But when you get there on Saturday, when you're a college football player and you're quarterback, it's a lot different. You got to be able to do other things and just be able to throw the ball to the moon. I think if he would have stayed at Michigan, he'd probably be starting this Saturday for the Wolverines. So he's got a lot of talent, finding a nice spot. I mean, well, he beat out everybody else last year. He was the starter. Injuries sidelined him. Then whatever it was, he didn't like the situation, and he took the first chance to bowl. And I don't know. He better figure out that that he's got a little bit of Scott Mitchell in him, where the former Lions quarterback, where you got to be really tough to play the game. And I don't know where Joe Milton's toughness is at, because he's 250 pounds and he's 6'5", and he can't pick up a half yard to save his life.
I'm shocked he's starting the SEC. Just after that Minnesota game, Joe Milton looked like he forgot how to play football. So I'm just shocked he's starting down there. Yeah,
well, he got injured in the Wisconsin game, and football is more than being able to throw the ball. Got to have more than arm talent. You got to be able to do a lot of those things, and there was a lot of promise there. And you know what? Now that he's got that experience, maybe going into a different situation, change of scenery, maybe he'll perform well. I would have been behind him if he would have been the Michigan quarterback this Saturday. I think that he would have won the job and likely would have been the starter. So when somebody bolts because I don't really know what he didn't like about the situation. He won the job. He was the starter. He got hurt. He didn't even play well. And then he got a chance to play the next game. And then, then he got pulled in the game. I mean, anybody's going to get pulled. If your feelings are going to get hurt when you're not playing well and you're hurt, and you get pulled, you're just going to go, well, I'm out of here. Let me go to Tennessee. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll work out for him, but I question that.
Really quickly, our intern Pete Finelli's getting in the chat on YouTube, just saying, as someone who goes to Penn State, I can confirm he's talking about Kirk Herbstreit, is correct about how at State College the football games control the entire weekend. I totally believe that. I believe that happens in the majority of the Big Ten schools. I do not believe it happens in Ann Arbor anymore. Do you confirm? Do you confirm that, or you think that's just bull?
I don't know about bull. I think that Michigan does it control, like, there's more people that go to the game that live in Ann Arbor. I mean, it's been something that Michigan football on Saturdays. I mean, it's hallowed ground. It's You talk to Michigan, everybody would look at that like, that sounds like rival fans, lining up with Kirk Herbstreit and saying, yeah, we have our whiteout. We're great. Well, you know what? You guys didn't win a game, Penn State, until last year. And you came into Michigan and you won one game, and then you beat Michigan State. And, let's see. It's like James Franklin, I don't think he's much of a coach. I know he's not a great in-game coach.
No.
And I know that. So, but you know what? What happens in college football is what happened the very last year. I don't have a whole lot to say about Penn State because they came into Michigan and slapped them around. I think the whiteout is a great atmosphere. I do think that Penn State fans, they're great fans and they fill up their stadium. But are a Penn State fan? Are there more Penn State fans than Michigan fans in the country? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Are we just talking about the grads of Penn State? Are they more passionate about the football? Are we just talking about State College compared to Ann Arbor? I think that Michigan, because and he put it on there because they haven't won in a while. That part's that's fair. Because they haven't won anything in a while, you can equate that to them not being as passionate. I think that part's fair. I don't know. It doesn't take much to get me riled up on that, but I don't think it like Penn State College. It controls the town in Ann Arbor. Oh, let's just go grab something. Let's just go grab some dinner on Saturday because nobody cares about football or anything. We'll just be able to breeze. It's what you have to take when you haven't won in a while. So I'm taking it. Anybody else want to take any shots? Who else?
I think you're the minority of Michigan fan, though. I think most Michigan fans get riled up and are going to freak out saying, what does Kirk Herbstreit know? Like, he's just an Ohio State Buckeye, blah, blah, blah. But I think you are part of the sane minority of Michigan fans who realize that your program is in shambles right now, and you have to figure it out, and you have to be better. Yeah,
well, don't go overboard. I mean, if you want to talk about them and critique them, that's fine. But people saying like the program is in shambles, that's when you look stupid. I mean, that sounds stupid. The program is not in shambles. They haven't been able to beat Ohio State. They haven't been able to win a bowl game. They haven't been able to win the Big Ten. All those things are true, but they're not in shambles. If you want to say that's shambles, all right, that's not shambles. Nebraska, that is a program
in shambles.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's Paul saying that the fifth chapter needs to be edited. Yeah, well, I gave that task to Jelinek. He's working on it, so we'll see. Maybe I'll have to take control of that. The fifth chapter logo is in shambles. I'll agree with that.
Wait, so Fithy, one last thing before we move on.
Go ahead.
What's been the better program over the past decade, Michigan or Texas? It's the same program.
Yeah, it's been about the same. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just saying that Texas is the staple of the Big 12. The Big 12 is going to fold now that Texas and Oklahoma are leaving. Michigan is the same way in the Big 10. Michigan should be playing for the Big 10 championship every single year, and I consider that to be a program in shambles when they're not.
That's fine. You rebounded there a little bit.
Thank you. I came back a little bit.
You did. You were just taking shots at them, which is a lot of people do. I don't mind. That's what we're here for. Taking shots, getting riled up. We're just supposed to be like sitting around taking it. Let's go. Roger's saying that they're going to be surprisingly good because the expectations are low. Yeah, well, we'll see, Roger. Maybe they will be. I talked about this last off season. Usually there's a lot of hype, and Michigan fans, are I would say some of them are talking crazy. So from talking like, winning the Big Ten, going to the college football playoff, double-digit wins, all these kind of things. Nobody, is doing that. So if that's the thing, maybe the Herbstreit and you and everybody else taking their cues, usually you've got wild Michigan fans like, are you crazy? I mean, you must be crazy. This team hasn't been anywhere in 2004. You guys are acting like you're an elite program. Nobody's acting like that. Nobody's saying anything about winning over 8 games. Everybody's like 7 or 8 games. I mean, so yeah, I mean, things are tamped down a little bit here. So, but they still have very passionate fans.
Okay. All right. Do you know who's not going to be very good next year, Dennis?
This year or next year?
Excuse me, this season coming up.
Okay. All right. Who?
Michigan State. I don't think they're going to be very good this year. And this is a good segue into our second chapter. Michigan State is visiting Northwestern this Friday at 9:00. The opening line is Northwestern -3 and the money line is at Michigan State plus 135. At least that's what I'm taking. How do you feel about the Spartans going to Evanston this weekend?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's always in context here. I mean, Mel Tucker is in his second year. So if he's able to win 6 games, we're sitting here right now and he's able to go 6-6 and Michigan
That's a hell of a season.
Bowl season. I don't know about a hell of a season, but it's been all right. I mean, you're behind Mel Tucker where you think that he's done a good job. You would think of the 6-6 season. Now 6-6, how many games did you get blown out? Did you find yourself a quarterback? You look like you have the team playing hard for you. Probably if you win, 6 games here. So, Mel Tucker, you get a little bit. There's a lot of people with the pandemic, a little bit of a free pass on that. There's some things that, the pandemic did where, you're not sticking it to people. You understand that, but so Mel Tucker's got, I think it's not a low bar, but he's got what you look for with a coach that is in his second year. Can he find a quarterback? And what's he going to be like on the sideline? How's he going to command this team? What's he going to be like there? He passed that in his first year. I like Michigan State starting out not only on the road but against a Big Ten foe and one that here they're a 3-point underdog. Because I, like a lot of people, have Michigan State right around 5-7, 6-6, or 7-5. I picked 5-7. But you know what? I have them losing this game coming up Friday to Northwestern. So right off the bat, if you're somebody that's down, you want to say down is 5-7, it's below 500 record. Michigan State wins that game. Suddenly, it's like, all you people that were down on Mel Tucker, where you at right off the bat. So I like how it sets up for him.
Yeah, I was looking through Michigan State's last 5 times playing Northwestern, and they visited Ryan Field in 2013, 17, and 2019. And they won 2 years ago in 2019. They lost in 2017 and I believe won in 2013, if I'm looking at my notes correctly. So I didn't realize that they actually weren't as bad as I thought they were playing at Ryan Field. But like you were talking about, this is a good opener for Michigan State. Like we said in the first chapter, Northwestern's always been a solid team, never great, never terrible, except last year they won the Big Ten West. But Northwestern's a good team. I think they'll be a good team again this year, and it's going to show a lot of the Spartans who they are after the game. I'm not sure if they're going to win. I hope they do. I'm going to bet that they do, but I feel like they're not going to. And I don't know, Northwestern lost a couple of key guys, and I just don't see them replacing big-time talent right away. So I don't know. I'm like nervous. I'm confident. I'm just going back and forth. I've been going back and forth for the past 2 days.
Yeah, you start talking about the history. Usually I kind of look at what the team is here, but I understand what you're talking about, looking at how they've matched up against them. We all know that Pat Fitzgerald's a great coach.
Yep.
And even last year, when you look at some of their non-conference games, or maybe it was the year before because nobody played any non-conference, like, they were like in a dogfight with Duke, and, they're playing teams like winning by 1 point and everything. And you're like, wow, man, Northwestern's not going to be any good. Then they get into the Big Ten, and then they're a surprise. Michigan State annually under Mark D'Antonio went into the now traditional Friday game, and I don't think he game planned for it. Michigan State was a big favorite, usually against who they were playing in that Friday game, and Michigan State went out there, and D'Antonio kept it vanilla, and the games ended up being excruciatingly close. Michigan State, by and large, looked really bad in that game, even when they had their really good teams. They looked bad in that Friday game, and everybody's like, this team sucks. They're totally overrated. Then D'Antonio, and I don't know if it got their attention, if it was, but so all of that, you don't have any luxury like that if you're Northwestern, or if you're Mel Tucker here. I mean, you got to get going. It's going to be, you're still going to be sloppy here, but you've got to go with everything that you got. You got to fire every bullet. It's not like you can hold out until the Big Ten season. This is the Big Ten season right off the bat. So it's hard to get a read and say, oh yeah, well, I'm definitely in Michigan State's corner here. Okay, well, hi, we don't even know who's going to start. Is it going to be Russo, the transfer?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be the Peyton Thorne? Mel Tucker, I was looking at the quote today. He wasn't revealing anything. So there you go. I think it's going to be Thorne myself, but that was just based on tuning in last year and watching him in his first start against Penn State in the second quarter. He threw 3 touchdowns. I'm like, hey, this kid looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting to. I feel like it's going to be Payton Thorne, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but I remember seeing on Twitter someone saying that Michigan State's the only Big Ten school that has not announced a starting quarterback yet. So I'm not totally sure if that's totally valid or not, but I don't know. Just something about Ryan Field and Evanston freaks me out. I don't know. I want Michigan State to cover. I really think they will, but I just have no idea if they're going to lose or not, or win or not.
We have a Michigan State fan that we know that watches the show here, and it's Beth, who's talking about. I guess that's a shot at Jim Harbaugh sleepovers, right?
It's got to be.
Yeah, there it is. Mel Tucker will be happy to win 6. Yeah. Will you, though, Beth, be happy if they win 6? What about you? You're a State fan. Are you going to be happy with 6 wins?
Yeah, I think I would be very happy with 6 wins, just like how messed up the program was before Tucker got there and how Mark D'Antonio left and all that. And after last year, I'd be happy with 6 wins. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
be ecstatic.
I was a State fan. Say, hey, you tell me you win 6 games and beat Michigan again. I'm ready to go. I'll feel really good about that. You get the bowl season, which gives the bowl practices, which are really important for a program. If you beat Michigan, being 2-0, man, you're dominating the state, doing pretty good in recruiting that way. So all those things would be looking pretty good if that happened.
Did you see that last comment that we had about from Rogers saying who wins more games, Michigan State or the Lions this year?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. And we're going to talk about it more. I had the Lions all year long, winning 6 games with the over. But after watching the exhibition season and seeing how things are going, I wouldn't bet that. And if I did have to bet it, I would. I don't want to pick right on the numbers, so I'm either going under 5 or over 5. So, and I'm picking Michigan State to win 5 games. So, I don't know. At this point right now, it feels like Michigan State.
I just want the Lions to win 6 games, so I don't have to shave my head. That's all I want to do. They need 6. That's all I need, man. Just 6.
Think about it. Like we want the Lions to go under. We only want them to win 2 or 3 games this year.
Yep.
We want them to get the number 1 pick.
So that's exactly what we want.
Yep. Here's Rogers talking about the Lions. He's saying they hope because they play that many more games. Yeah, they do play that many more games. Speaking of the Lions, good transition there.
Let's do it.
For us, Paul, talking about the Lions. Here's a 4-12-1 prediction from Paul. Let's get to them. They had to cut down like every other team in the NFL. Cutting down to the 53-man roster. We'll have those travel squads that'll be announced. That'll be coming up, and you'll have the game day of who's not dressing and all that. But the 53, a couple surprises there. One that wasn't a surprise was Jelani Tavai. He ended up getting cut.
Oh, thank God.
Burchard Perriman getting cut as a wide receiver. That was a surprise because a lot of people, Ty Williams, Burchard Perriman, it was probably 50-50 on who was going to be the Lions' number 1 receiver. And Perriman, is shown the door even before they start the season. And then the funny thing, because it's the Lions, is that you see, I saw it from Adam Schefter. I just saw the tweet. Lions cut both of their kickers. So they've got no kicker. And you're like, that's really Lion-esque. Wait a second. So what's that mean?
Who was the kid from Michigan, the trouble with the snap punter? What was that kid's name again? He was Australian, right? Something like that. I just know, Pete, would you mind looking that up for us, who the kicker was for the trouble with the snap game? But I remember that guy did everything. Can Jack Fox do everything? Can he punt? Can he kick field goals? Can he kick off? I'll do that.
Yeah. Well, what it shows you is that the Lions, we follow them through. If you've watched any of what the beat writers have been saying about the kickers, whoever they had in there, nobody was stepping out and showing up, and there was nobody that was impressive. And then when they had the exhibition games, it wasn't Zane Gonzalez, the former Cardinal kicker, or the former Texans kicker, Randy Bullock, who we talked about a week or 2 ago. Neither of those guys are, you're sitting out there saying, wow, they're great. So the Lions massaging the roster here and trying to protect the player that they might have to expose. They know both of their kickers, like, go ahead, you want one of our kickers? You can have them.
I know, yeah, just take them.
So they just cut them, and then they'll sign one of those guys, or they'll sign somebody else next week and have some kind of gong show going with their kickers. But it did add some humor. Like, hey, you know what? I guess the Lions don't need a kicker. They're not going to score. So who cares?
No, we're just going for 2 all season, man. It's going to be awesome. We're going to kill it.
Go for 2, never kick a field goal. Now, that would be exciting if if the Lions actually went into the season, they go into San Francisco a week from Sunday. Actually, they're hosting them. And they don't have a kicker on the roster, and they're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Dan Campbell's like, you know what, guys, we're trying something different this year.
Yeah.
Fans may go, what? These guys are crazy. I would sign up for that.
I would too. I think that'd be awesome.
I think that they'll probably sign a field goal.
Oh, yeah.
Kicker, but,
yeah, absolutely will.
No, let's have Fox kick. Let's have Goff kick them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Goff kicked some footballs back in the day in like middle or high school. I'm sure he did that. Every quarterback did at one point.
There you go. Blake O'Neal was the guy you were looking
Blake O'Neal, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, so we could do that. I think Matt Prater's still in the league. I don't think he's retired.
He's kicking for the Cardinals.
Ah, there we go. That's good to know.
Why did you want to know Blake O'Neal's name?
Just for the fact that Jack Fox can do everything. I just wanted to remember his name to be more relevant for the quote. But yeah, let's have Jack Fox do kickoffs, do extra points, and punt.
Okay, you ready to turn the page?
You want to talk about Penei Sewell at all? Just how we don't think we should pump the brakes yet or not?
Oh yeah, let's put that graph up, or the tweet. There you go.
Yeah, you got it. Let me find the tweet here for you. Was that a chef?
Yeah, somebody from Football Focus.
I got it. Yeah, I got it right here. Yeah, so the 33rd team, and according to Pro Football Focus, Penei Sewell had the 6th worst PFF pass blocking grade out of all OTs in the preseason, over 20 blocking snaps. Sewell allowed 1 sack, 4 pressures, and was beaten by his defender 3 times in 47 pass blocking snaps. Do you think it's too early to pump the brakes, Fifth, or not? Or too early to panic, excuse me.
Yeah. Panic. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too early to panic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, he took a year off. They're playing him on the right side. He was the left tackle at Oregon. And it's not ideal, though. It's not like, you know, I see there were some Lion fans who like, get off of Sewell, you crazy. What do you expect? Like, you know what? When you draft somebody in the top 10, doesn't matter if they didn't play football for a year or, you know, you're playing him at defensive tackle and he was an offensive tackle. You're taking him in the top 10. There's going to be some certain expectations. Yeah. I would much rather, what would have been ideal is if you had heard out of camp, like, oh man, Penei Sewell, he's a dancing bear. Nobody can get around him. This guy's a mauler in the ground game. None of these guys are able to get around him on the edge, man. This guy's just a freak of nature. You heard a little bit of that from some of the Lions, but then would have been bad. Things that happen in the preseason, only bad things really show up. Like if you go out there and you do well, it's like, it's preseason. You know, people are pretty vanilla. You go out there, you can have some success. That doesn't mean you're going to be great, but you know, it's like, hey, it's a practice. You went out there, you executed. It's only when bad things happen in the preseason that they really show up. So, yeah, these were bad things. I mean, they were playing them in the 3rd preseason game, which is really putting a dunce cap on them. So, yeah, it wouldn't be a huge shock if they had somebody else. If they had somebody, they actually ended up cutting the one guy that a lot of people thought, myself included, that might have been able to start for them against the 49ers and Crosby, but I guess he was a little bit dinged up. But yeah, I mean, it's this has gone from the Lions are going to have this force field and the greatest offensive line in the league to, you know, Sewell, let's give him a whole year. And this is, you know, I think we all knew, and we've been talking about it, like, hey, only the Texans are looked at as going to be a worse team this year. You know, it's not going to be a surprise if the Lions only win 3 or 4 games, you know, 5 or 6, you know, that's the range for this team. But then after you watch the preseason, it's like, yeah, you know what, that range, it feels more like 3 or 4 than 5 or 6.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally with you. The guy hasn't played football against athletes in a year now or 2 years. I don't know what it is, but he's moving positions from the left to the right side. Just give the kid a chance. I feel like by the end of the year, he's going to look like a 7th overall draft pick. You just got to deal with the growing pains. Throw him out there each week. Let him play. Let him get beat. Let him figure it out. Just give it to him the hard way. He'll figure it out eventually. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, if you're getting undressed and you're getting beat, sometimes you're going to have to get benched, though. So hopefully we're not going to have too much of that.
No, I don't want to see that. But he's going to have to get beat a couple times to really figure it out. It's all muscle memory when you're playing on the offensive line like that. Does it every single time, multiple times a game. So I think eventually he's going to figure everything out, get proper, and he'll be just ready to go by week 3, week 4, somewhere around there.
We'll see. All right, let's move on.
All right, let's bring our guy Raaj in, chapter 4. It's a Tuesday tradition unlike any other. It's our little overs and unders segment. And let's bring him in.
Sideshow, Raaj. Sideshow, Raaj. Sideshow, Raaj.
Yo.
It is Raaj. What's up, Raaj?
How you doing?
Hey, what's good? What's up, fellas?
You get excited for football?
Oh yeah, can't wait.
Did you watch the fight? Because you were asking us about it last week. Jake Paul, the YouTube sensation, getting in there, going at it on Sunday night. He had the whole evening to himself. Did you take it in?
Yeah. I watched the fight. I thought Woodley could have knocked him out, but the fight only went 8 rounds. If that fight would have went 10 rounds, I think Woodley could have put him down. But Paul did enough to win. He won more rounds, landed more shots. But I think if the fight would have went longer, Woodley definitely could have won.
I don't even know anything about either of the fighters. I know that I watched a 10-second clip where it looked like Woodley had popped him pretty good and had him up against the ropes. And instead of trying to, put together some kind of a follow-up, and he kind of let him off the hook there. I don't know what was going on. Did you that's what you're kind of talking about in that side?
Yeah. That was more towards the end of the fight. It seemed like Woodley had more win than Paul. Paul got gassed a little quicker, but Woodley, just his lack of boxing experience, he couldn't close it out. He couldn't put the combinations and the right punches together. Just the lack of ring experience, he couldn't close the fight. And like I said, I feel as though the fight ended kind of prematurely. I think if it would have went 2 more rounds, somebody would have got knocked out for sure.
Okay.
The only thing I know about the fight is that they promised each other that whoever won, we get a tattoo saying like "I love Jake Paul" or "I love Woodley," like whatever. So that's all I know.
Yeah, Paul said he's only going to give him the rematch if he gets the tattoo.
Do we want a rematch? Do we? I don't know. Do we?
I personally don't want to see it, but if they rematch, I will watch it again. But I don't personally want to see a rematch. No, I want to see Paul fight somebody else.
You got anybody in mind?
No, nobody specific. Like in his weight class, I think he should be fighting, the bottom feeders. He's I believe he weighed in at 190 for that fight. So whoever the lowest guy is in the 190 division, he should go against them. I think he should stop fighting former UFC guys, NBA players, wrestlers. If you're going to call yourself a boxer, you need to be fighting other boxers.
Well, he's doing that because he would get smacked around, though. If he's going up against real boxers, Jake Paul has to just I feel like he would get murdered.
Even the worst guy in his weight class, you don't think he has a chance?
I don't know anything about boxing. I just know he's a YouTube celebrity turned boxer. So I feel like someone who's been training for boxing their whole life would easily dismantle Jake Paul.
I know handpicking the opponents really helps you out,
Yeah, exactly.
How much money did he make off that fight?
He made almost $2 million off that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I would keep doing what he's doing. He's got it going really good. I don't know about his YouTube channel and all that, how much he was making, but he's doing something right. I would just keep it going. Keep picking tomato cans.
Yeah, that was Woodley's highest paid fight as well. He never made that amount of money in the UFC. So,
what about if he went against what's
his brother?
Name? I don't know about his brother.
Nah.
What about the Irish MMA guy?
Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been trolling Connor. He's been calling him out. But you mean the fighting as far as boxing or UFC?
Yeah, he's MMA. I know Connor would kill him, but how about boxing? Connor weighs only like 140 or something, don't they? 150?
Yeah, he's bigger than Connor. Connor's about 140, 145. Jake Paul weighed in at 190 for that fight. So
I wouldn't mind some heavyweight against a little Irish guy. Let's put that on. I would watch that one.
I would watch that one.
Yeah, I'd watch it. Like I said, I just want to see the guy. He's calling himself a boxer. You got 4 fights under your belt already. I just want to see him fight another boxer. Okay. Obviously not none of the top guys, but a bottom tier guy that. And I also want to see who his brother fights next as well. We see he just fought Floyd, so it'd be interesting to see who he fights next as well.
All right, Raaj. What are we looking for here when we're talking about overs and unders for today?
All right. So Akil Badu currently has 14 stolen bases. 14 stolen bases for Akil Badu. I put his over under at 21 and a half stolen bases for Akil Badu.
I'm going over. You know what? He's missed a lot of time here, especially as of late. It's like you don't see Akil Badu out there. But if he's got September here, the whole month. What's he got to get? 6-7 bags. I think he can do that. What did he start out? 14 for 14 or something this year? I think he can swipe 6 here in September. Let's do it. Over.
He would need 8 more to get over.
Oh, 8 more. All right, 8.
Wait, so
Over.
he started off the season 14 for 14.
I just said that. I'm not exactly sure what it was. No,
I was gonna say
he wasn't getting thrown out. I don't know what it started out. I'd have to look.
Well, yeah, he's 14 for 21. There's 28-ish left games, somewhere around there for the Tigers. I think 8 bags. I'm gonna go under. I think he's gonna get to 20 or 21. I don't think he's gonna hit the over though. I don't see it. I gotta go with the under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go under on this as well. I think it's like 28, 29 games left, including today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him about 5-6 more. I think he get to about 19, 20.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go under as well.
I would love to see it. I just don't think he has enough time. He's missed too much time in the season as well.
Yeah, and who's to say he's gonna play every game to close out the season?
Exactly.
All right. My next one. Shohei Ohtani, the current MLB leader in home runs with 41. Are you going over or under on 50 home runs for Shohei Ohtani this season?
9 in the month. You know what? That sounds like too many. Under.
Over. Absolutely. He's going to get there. The man's a freak athlete. He's going to hit it.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. I'll give him like 51. I'm going to give him like 51. He already leads the MLB in home runs. I'll go ahead and give it to him. 30 more games. I'll give him the 9-10 home runs. I'll go over.
I mean, I feel like I'm totally making this up, but I feel like every other game he's hitting a home run. Like basically every game he's hitting a home run. Every highlight I see, it's a home run from Ohtani. So yeah, give me the over. I think he can hit 9 more without a doubt.
Cool. All right. This next spread I got is off Vegas Insider, vegasinsider.com. They got the EMU Eagles, the EMU football team.
There you go.
6.5 wins for EMU football. Dennis, I'll let you start that one off.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't got a chance really to look at the team too much here. On Friday, I'm hoping to be able to. They start at 7:00. I have that written down somewhere. Oh, there it is. Down there. They're playing 7:00 against St. Francis.
Yeah,
Michigan State's
I
playing.
never heard of that school.
Basketball, I have. Actually, I remember Eastern playing St. Francis when I was going to school there, but that was a long time ago. And now here they come with the football team. I didn't know they had a football team. And Michigan State didn't kick off until 9:15, so I might be able to watch the entire day at 6.5, which would get them bowl eligible. I want to say over, but I think it's going to be under.
I don't know anything about EMU football. I just know they're not that good. I saw them play in the Quick Lane Bowl a couple of years ago. That was pretty cool. Give me the under.
Yeah, I'm gonna close it out with the trifecta here. I'm gonna go under as well. They somewhat of a tough schedule in the MAC. They play Wisconsin. They go to Wisconsin. We know that they're gonna get slaughtered in that game.
Oh yeah.
I'll give them 6 wins on the season, but I don't think they go over to 6.5. I'm gonna go under as well.
What? Can we make a joke about who the EMU team is playing? What's the name of the school?
St. Francis, Pennsylvania, I think.
Is it like that alleged prep academy that was on ESPN a few nights ago? I feel like that school's made up as well.
I feel like I would take those guys from Ohio from St. Francis.
All right.
My next one, Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers has the MSU Northwestern game. They got the total points set at 45. 45 total points for the MSU Northwestern game. Going over or under?
I want to go over because I like betting overs. Just give me the over. Life's too short to bet the under. Give me the over. I feel like it's either going to be like classic Big Ten football where it was like the start of the Nebraska-Illinois game where it was like 2-0 after the first quarter, or it's going to be a blowout. I'm not sure which way it's going to go. Give me the over.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go. I think this is a dead under. And if I was going to bet it, this is the way I would go. I think you see traditionally when you talk about teams that are getting going and you talk about them, what's in fall camp, coaches almost always say the defense is ahead of the offense. It takes a little while to get that offensive continuity going and everything else. That's why teams like to have these easy teams like St. Francis or like Western, where Michigan's good. You like those tune-up games. Neither of these teams have a chance for tune-ups, and I get, you can have blown plays on defense and everything, but I think that both defenses will be ahead of the offenses here. I like a low-scoring game. I'm picking Northwestern to win this one, 20-16, which would make it a dead under.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go under on this one as well. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game at all. I think this is going to be more of a defensive game. I think Northwestern's going to win by at least like 7 to 10 points. I think they're going to put it on MSU, but I don't think it goes over 45 points. So I'm going to go under on that as well. And I see Northwestern's -3 in that game. I think Northwestern will cover the spread.
Nah, Michigan State's covering, man. I got that. They're losing by less than 3. Guaranteed.
Betting's legal.
We'll see next Tuesday. That's
right.
All right. My last one here is from BetRivers.com. They got the Michigan and Western Michigan game. Total points set at 67. 67 total points for the Michigan and Western Michigan game this Saturday.
I think that's an under, too. I don't think Michigan's going to score that many. I like Michigan to
Western's not.
Yeah, 35, 17, 45, 50. That's 35, 17 is my selection there. That makes it the under. I like the under in that one, too.
Yeah, same here. I don't see Western scoring any more than 13 or 17 points. So absolutely give me the under.
And the 17 has Michigan covering. So
yeah, I'm gonna go with the under on here as well. That's a lot of points. McNamara, he's just somewhat of a decent quarterback, but that's just a lot of points. But I do think Western covers that spread. I don't think Western's as bad as everybody's making them out to be. I mean, they're not great, but I think they can cover 17.5 points. So give me Western and the points there.
All right. I'm in on that.
It's always hard to know when you're talking about openers. Like Michigan didn't have a spring game. We're just looking. They've got a brand spanking new defense that they're throwing out there. That could be good. That could be bad, whichever way you look at it here. Western does have a quarterback that's got some experience, and they can throw it around a little bit. So I understand where you're coming from there. So, but I do know Michigan has poured a lot in. When you only win 2 games and you have to get a season like last year, and you're going to have the crowd for the first time. I know Kirk Herbstreit, says they're not going to be very passionate, but I'm going to guess there's just going to be a little bit of passion, Jelinek, in the stadium on Saturday. And I think
that's Western.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's one thing that's unquestioned that Michigan has, the best game day tradition with the uniforms in the stadium and, the band and, running out of the tunnel and all those things. Everybody missed that. And, even though you and Herbstreit, and our boy Peter, it's just not the same as it is in State College. Michigan they'll be excited. The crowd will too, even though it's just Western. I think that'll push that total over 17 points.
Yeah, I want to add this in there too. Out of 6 games last year, Western went 4-2. Their quarterback Caleb Ellaby in those 6 games threw for 1,720 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions.
Didn't he have a wild game against Toledo or something like that last year? Like Western went to do like a fake spike or something like that and scored a touchdown. It was either last year or 2 years ago, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I caught that one.
I think that was last year.
But I think Michigan wins, but I think Western to cover. So
I'll take that.
Raaj, we'll be able to sink our teeth into some football when we talk with you next week.
Absolutely. All right. Appreciate you guys having me on board.
Yep. It was great having you on there. Oh, I like that. What's that? A little bit of there. A little bit of buzzer sound. All right. That takes us speaking of Peter, it's not just Michigan State that's starting it out with a bang against Northwestern in conference play. Penn State will also start out their season with a tough game against the Wisconsin Badgers, and the man behind the name there will get a chance. Penn State Pete.
That's a good one.
We'll get a glimpse of Penn State Pete coming up. He'll talk about just the passion that will be in State College. Coming up on Saturday, it'll just be unbridled passion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Intern Penn State Pete can make his debut on the show on Thursday. Talk about how passionate Penn State fans will be in Happy Valley, ready to go. So that would be sweet.
Well, yeah, something to look forward to there. All right, that gets us to the fifth chapter.
Yeah, I'm not really sure we want to go with this segment, but in 2 weeks from now, I'm taking this epic vacation up to the Keweenaw Peninsula, like all the way up north. It's about a 10-hour drive, staying in a cabin from about like 100 feet away from Lake Superior, just staring out into the lake. I'm super excited. We're doing Beer Fest up in Marquette, hiking in the Porcupine Mountains, staying the night in Houghton, just driving all the way up to like this part of the Keweenaw Peninsula way up here in Michigan. So it's going to be an epic trip.
Yeah, that's right up at the top, isn't it?
Right up here. But you're driving for 10 hours straight in the state of Michigan. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet it'll get down to like 20 degrees at night. You'd be ready to go.
It's going to be cold, man. It's low 70s there right now, and Lake Superior is always freezing cold. Got to take a dip, though, in it one time. It's paralyzing, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah, well, at least you'll have some stories when you come back from there. That's a good story. You know what? Today, I was surprised that Mac Jones beat out Cam Newton for the starting job. I'm a little bit surprised, but I was shocked that they cut Cam Newton, the Patriots. So that was the big shocker to me today. And the other thing was the big story about Bryson DeChambeau didn't like everybody yelling Brooksy and everything else, and that's only going to make it where golf fans are going to do that more. So he should have found a way to complain about that without saying anything, and because give golf fans, give a bunch of drunk dudes like, hey, take it easy out there, like okay, good luck for that.
See, DeChambeau is weird because I hate the man with a passion. However, it's awesome for golf. Golf needs stuff like that to just happen on the course. Like DeChambeau, I can't remember if it was on 18 or in the playoff where DeChambeau told Patrick to stop walking. I'm talking to Patrick Cantley, but I think it is epic for the game. It's going to be interesting for the Ryder Cup coming up because allegedly none of these guys like each other. The U.S. team just sounds super toxic. I know, like, Brooks and DeChambeau hate each other. Cantley and DeChambeau hate each other. Everybody hates Patrick Reed. I'm not sure if Dustin Johnson hates anybody, but everything that's happening right now, as awesome as for the regular tour and the FedEx Cup playoffs and the Tour Championship coming up this weekend, it's going to be a problem for the Ryder Cup. I have no idea what's going to happen. I think the same thing's going to happen when it happened in France, and the U.S. is just going to crumble. It's going to be a bummer to watch.
Yeah, and Paul's question, do they save money when you're talking about the cap? I would think that they would. Like, you wouldn't make that move just to say, okay, yeah, we're going to put Mac here and we're going to let Cam go somewhere else. So there's going to be some saving when it comes down to that. Somebody asking you if you're going to fish up there?
I won't be fishing on this trip, but I do fish like twice a year. I really enjoy throwing something in the water, drinking a beer, and just hanging on the boat. Big proponent of that.
Well, that sounds like a fun thing to do at any time. So enjoy it. When's that happening?
We leave September 10th and get back on like the 18th, I believe.
Okay, so you're going to miss some shows. All right.
Oh, well.
All right. Well, thanks to Peter Vanelli for running the chat. We will see him coming up on Thursday to preview that big Penn State, Wisconsin. The two teams that have more passionate fans than Michigan. We'll hear from him on Thursday. And for Brian Jelinek, I'm Dennis Fithian. Thanks for watching. And we will talk with you on Tuesday. We'll actually have games to talk about. That'll be fun. Enjoy it. Thanks for watching. And good night.